Welcome back to part 18 of Pokemon Yellow, and in this part we're going to be doing a little bit of a sweep of some of the other stuff we need to do before we can go to the Pokemon League. That does include the final gym battle, but first let's go back to Pallet. Because, you know, good old Pallet Town, we haven't been there in a while. Mainly because we haven't had a reason to go there in a while. This is such an interesting route. I like how you can have the entire screen of just water.
It's like, every time you exit the Pokemon Center, it's always a little odd just seeing Pikachu just hovering there above the doorway.
Now that little patch of grass there, I think that's where you can get a Tangler, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that the only place you can get Tangler?
Yes.
That's interesting, because Tangler's not a sort of Pokemon I would think of as like a rarity or anything, but it's only got one encounter place.
So Tangler's not bad, it's like one of the most defensive grass types.
It's also the only grass-only type in Gen 1, which is pretty cool.
It's like, again, Tangler's one of those amazing designs from Gen 1 that will be treasured forever.
It's better than its evolution, come on. Its evolution is fucking ugly.
I don't hate Tangrowth.
It's ugly, but without any sort of appeal to justify it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely stronger. Again, it also, similar to Yanmega, it evolves through Ancient Power.
Oh, yeah. Which one of it is it that can learn Ancient Power before Gen 4? So I think there's one of them where it's like an egg move or something that, like, there was an obscure... It might have been Lickitung.
I can't remember how Lickitung evolves.
That's the point. Does it just lick something wrong or something?
It's like, I'm pretty sure Piloswine evolves through Ancient Power.
It might be that. I can't remember.
That would make sense, considering it's a ground type. I mean, Ancient Power's a rock move, but still.
Because most of the time they do go to great lengths to try and avoid them kind of continuity errors, don't they? Of like things that technically couldn't happen or should have been able to happen or whatever in a previous gen. But I think there's one of them where it just sort of slips.
I did like that in the Sinnoh series when Team Rocket captured that Yanma.
Oh yeah.
It's like one of the few Pokemon they actually get hold of. They send it off to Giovanni, but because they've already got loads of Yanma, they send it back with Ancient Power on it. And Team Rocket are just like, what are we meant to do with this? Until it evolves.
Yeah, oh, this could be useful. But anyway, this is the power plant. There's a lot of electric types here, and there is a certain legendary Pokemon here. I think you can take a guess who that is.
Is it Moltres?
Yes. Moltres is here. Moltres hangs out with all the other electric Pokemon like Moltres.
It's trading against its weakness.
Yeah, but no, it's Zapdos. What do we think of Zapdos, Chris?
Well, it used to be my favourite. I slowly changed for Arcuno, but I do love Zapdos. I like its crazy sort of design. Legendary birds always remind me of that Pokemon game now. Because of the teams.
Which one?
The handheld one. What's it called? Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
I don't know why this always reminds me of.
Team Valor, Mystic, and Instinct.
Yeah, I've never played that because I don't go outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pokemon Go, it kind of brought a lot of normies into the Pokemon series, for better or worse. Like, yeah, that's all I can really say.
My brother, he don't really care for the new games. Yeah, he can't seem to stop playing Go.
Well, Pokemon Go, that's sort of slowing down a lot now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I think the reason for that is because they didn't update it quick enough, did they? With mobile games tend to come and go much quicker than console games or handheld games or PC games or whatever, because they have a more sort of disposable audience, and that's purely because of the volume of, like, there's hundreds of new fucking apps coming out all the time. And what they failed to do was they failed to bring out new things for the game frequently. Like, it should have been like after the first couple of weeks they had like Gen 2 ready to go, and then just carried on bringing out new Pokemon. But they left it too long. They let it sort of become this thing that... This would have been a great way to ease people who are originally nostalgic for it into newer series, wouldn't it? Because, like, you know, download the app because it's the Pokemon you remember. That was what a lot of their audience was. It was nostalgia. that tied with a little app game you could go out and capture things and that. It was kind of that tied with the Pokemon brand that people remember. That's what got its initial kick. If they sort of used that and they essentially rolled with it, brought in new things once they got that initial audience, they could have really capitalised on it better. But no, they sort of let it peter out over time, which is a shame.
It's like they still haven't even released legendaries for it.
Why?
I don't know.
I want to find a fucking Giratina or some shit at the petrol garage.
Yeah.
That'd be lit.
This thing that's from another dimension meant to keep things in check, and you found it in a public bathroom.
Yeah, you just walk in and there's like fucking Groudon on the bog and you think, oh, sorry.
Just imagine you're around someone's house, you pull out your phone and you just shout out, "Hey, it's a Dialga in here!"
There's all kind of funny pictures in there like that. I think, Abra sits down. Like, I think they got one of them on the toilet and stuff like that. Like.
I know there's a photo of a Diglett on top of a cooker.
People have found Diglets on their lap, which was funny. But, yeah.
That must be painful, God. It's burrowed through the skin.
Yeah. But yeah, we caught Zapdos. Stephen, I never asked you, what do you think of Zapdos?
Yeah, I really like Zapdos.
Zapdos for me, it's cool, but I prefer Articuno. Articuno just it's that got that extra level of majesty to it, which Zapdos just doesn't really have.
Zapdos looks kind of chaotic.
Yeah, this felt
Which
more of
one?
a crazy design to me.
Plus, it's the most viable of the three, because it loses that electric weakness.
True, yeah.
It's only weak to rock and ice, and it doesn't have a 4 times weakness to rock like the other two.
Which, that's got to be useful. It loses a few weaknesses, but
Especially against Stealth Rock.
I remember in the Fire and Leaf Green set of the trading card game, they had some really cool looking secret rares. That they were like just Moltres EX, Articuno EX, Zapdos EX, and they had a power where as soon as you put them out, you could not only set them straight as your active Pokemon, but also absorb the energy of their respective types. So it was like this super powerful Pokemon EX ready to go, like as soon as you play it. But also they had this really unique holofoil effect that was like a whole thick layer over the card, where it would just sort of refract light, and it was fucking amazing. Like for the 3 of them, I think people mostly used the Zapdos from those 3. I can't remember exactly what their attacks were, but they were all pretty cool.
One of the most memorable things about Zapdos for me was from the 2000 movie.
Oh yeah.
Just the fact that it moves in on Moltres' turf after he disappears.
Yeah, it's like, fuck you, my island now.
Yeah, now Moltres is gone, I'm going to take over. I'm going to expand the Lightning Island.
Yeah, I've been meaning to rewatch that because I actually bought the Blu-rays for the first 5 films the other day just on impulse, and I'm going to rewatch them when I get a chance because I love Pokemon 2000. I've gushed over this so many times in all our playthroughs, but Pokemon 2000 is like my favourite film. I love it. I love Lugia in that film. I love, just the general story of it. I know a lot of it's nostalgia, but still.
I like to picture that in the film when Zapdos is captured and they're both Zapdos and Moltres are in the room together. I like to think that Moltres is just having a go at Zapdos. Just like, dude, what the fuck?
No fucking squatters, piss off.
That's my home.
Oh god.
Which gives it explanation as to why he fires a fire blast at Zapdos' prison cage thing, just so he can get at him afterwards.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to make it look like I'm helping for you. But
I mean, granted,
I secretly hope it hits.
I mean, granted, all 3 of the birds do end up fighting afterwards, so.
Yeah. That was one weird ass fucking moral that they were trying to push there, wasn't it? That it's wrong to keep Pokemon as collectibles. Well, I got a few things to say about that.
Yeah, it's wrong to capture Pokemon.
Pokeball Go!
Yeah, hang on a minute, Misty. I would just like to point out what you've got in your pockets.
I think it was probably a confused, misguided thing of like there's the humane way of keeping them and the inhumane way, because they just had them locked up in fucking glass cages, like which were absorbing all their attacks, and they were frustrated in that. And I think they were tying that in with, because you know the anime always pushes like it's important to be friends with your Pokemon and be respectful to them and that, whereas they were literally just collectibles to him, weren't they?
Plus, generally in the anime, they have shown several times that the Pokemon can come out of the Pokeballs whenever they want.
Yeah, like fucking Wobbuffet, Psyduck,
and Oshawott.
Oshawott as well.
Well, have they ever went into what's inside the Pokeballs? Or is that just left up to us?
Not really in detail. I mean, there's that one scene in black and white where it shows Dragonite inside it, but it's just sort of, they just show it curled up inside.
Which is kind of weird. Also, we got more Spinny.
God.
I wonder who the gym leader could be.
Yeah.
Never seen this before.
He put a lot of investment into this. He thought it was going to go big.
I like to imagine that he still had tiles left over after the whole game corner thing fucked up, and he thought, well, might as well use them somewhere.
Yeah. I've been looking for a gimmick.
Yeah.
This just works. It just screams boss.
Yeah, which I think is kind of a shame that when Blue took over the gym in Gen 2, he took that out. Because they just had like one hallway. But nah, dude, have the spinny. It's fun. I like just, spinning round, baby, right
but
round.
But it's all about Blue.
But still, spinny.
DUGTRIO. We haven't seen it yet. Guy always looks pissed off.
Very angry.
Wonder why. Look how cramped that must be. Like,
hey, they could space out if they wanted to.
Like, why don't they just get their own fucking holes? Like, seriously. But yeah, I'm quite under-leveled again, but it really doesn't matter because I have type advantages for most things. Like, the Persian's normal type, but I think everything else is ground, so, Venusaur and Blastoise between them can take it on pretty well.
I know I've already said, but I love Persian's sprite in this. I've never really been a fan of Persian, but that's just a really cool sprite.
I really like Kanto Persian. Kanto Persian is just, like, it's an endearing kitty. It's the evolved Meowth, and I like it. I like it as Giovanni's partner as well, and the whole thing with Meowth's envy of it, and that. And I think he still keeps the Persian, way as far as black and white, doesn't he? I think he's got the Persian with him. Yeah, which I think that's cool, because, it was just Pikachu, Meowth, and Persian were, the only pre-black and white Pokemon who showed up for the longest time, weren't they?
So I know Ash briefly fights it.
Yeah, I think that was the first time that he'd actually confronted Giovanni directly, wasn't it? Other than, I don't think he actually confronted him, but he met him in that little Mewtwo Return special, didn't he? Nidoking versus Nidoking.
I was going to say, is that canon? But then again, the movie is canon to the series, so I guess that is as well.
Probably, yeah. That little special, I really can't remember that much of it, but...
And there's a lot of problems with it.
Well, yeah, there's the baby Nidoqueens, aren't there?
You could argue it's because the Nidoqueens are clones.
I don't think them ones were they?
They were.
Or was that the Clone
sure.
Sanctuary?
That was the sanctuary for the clones, because
right.
Mewtwo had moved them all there.
Oh, that makes a little bit more sense, I guess.
Couldn't they just evolve really quickly?
They were tiny. They were... Absolutely.
I'm sorry, that's a badass sprite. Look at that sprite. Look, Nidoking means fucking business.
That looks like it's going to rip you apart.
Yeah. It almost looks like his hands sort of folded out, like he's presenting to you like, you're gonna die. But still, I have Surf, so...
Yeah, I destroyed him with my Blastoise as well. And I was under-leveled. I was a bit higher level than you. Mine was around about the 40s.
Well, bear in mind, I have got my type advantages, down to a T here, because I've planned out my team this way that I've got coverage for basically everything, I think, other than Dragon. Although I will be bringing the Articuno in a bit, so...
Why don't you use Pikachu against RHYDON?
Yeah, because it can aim for the horn.
Yeah.
I think that's one of them lines that gets like sort of misquoted all the time. Like, it's actually just Pikachu the horn rather than aim for the horn. Like, I've seen a few things like that. It's one of these collective mismemories that, like, there's that Luke, I am your father is.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, it's no, I am your father, isn't it? And like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things like that. And then there's also like the whole Mandela effect kind of thing, where like loads of people are misremembering certain events, and you know, I know it's one of the things that's been covered to death lately. Like, it's one of these things that people have discovered and decided to cling to. But like, there's the whole spelling of Bernstein Bears. There's all these different quotes that people misremember, and it's fascinating, really. But yeah, that's the final gym down. So we now have all of our gym badges, and that means that in the next part we will be able to start heading towards Pokemon League, which is the sort of final goal for Pokemon games, at least in this series, because, you know, later on we get more fleshed out post games. It has a bit of a post game, but it really won't take me long.
I'd forgotten that in this, Giovanni disappears if you talk to him. It was like playing through it again recently. It sort of took me by surprise. I was like, that's fucking mysterious.
I must go now. My planet needs me.
Would have been better if he did just hover off the screen.
Yeah, with that really shitty editing, like, and the fucking itchy scratchy poochy thing as well.
You just hear the explosion from Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Oh yeah. He may or may not have fallen down the waterfall. Rip.
But don't worry, he's back in black and white too because of the championship place.